What's good? It's your boy Jefton Jones, and look, I want to talk about a topic today that I think relates to each and every one of us in this world today. I want to talk about why we should not count out 2020. Now, as many of you all know, we have been hit with a pandemic so strong to the point where a lot of us have been in fear. A lot of us have been in rejection on what's been happening. A lot of us have simply just been moving as we see fit. Some of us are deciding to be as protective as we can. And then there seems to be another group, it's either black or white with these things, it seems. And then there's another group that just seems to say, well, forget protection. I'm going to operate and do what I see fit in my life. But that's not the topic today. Really, I want to talk about why you shouldn't count out 2020. 2020 has been a year of deaths. It has been a year of disappointments. It's even been a year of constant turmoil and just being stuck in the house. But the reason why I don't think we should count out 2020 is because I don't think that God has stopped working. When we count out a year, when we decide to say, let's just hurry up and go into the next year, essentially what we're saying is we don't trust God to do what he said he was going to do. We're saying that we don't look to God for all of our life's answers. We don't seek God when we're dealing with such crazy things. We don't turn to him when things are going right only, right? We go to him when things are going right and when things are going wrong. So I want to challenge you on not throwing the towel in on 2020 because God has not thrown the towel in on you. If you've come up with goals for this year, continue on with those goals. Don't give up on them. Realize that you are more than a conqueror. Realize that you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. You are a soldier in God's army, and the moment you decide to give up, the moment you decide to say, hurry up and let's flip the chapter on this year 2020, is the moment you decide to say, well, I'm done with seeking God. I'm done with giving God my glory, even when things are tough. That's when you give up, and that's when God is going to be able to use someone else. In this season, you've been hearing me constantly say that God is exposing and he is dividing the wheat from the tare. What the wheat from the tare simply means is you have one product that can be used for so many good things, right? And then you have another product where it's not necessarily used for anything. It's not necessarily helpful for anyone, right? And so the analogy of the wheat and the tares can be compared to each and every one of us. Are you someone, are you a product, are you a human that can be used for God's glory? Or are you a product, are you a human that is just not used at all? You've been getting up every morning super stressed. You've been getting up every morning super depressed, and you just feel like you can't make it. Well, as the story goes on in the analogy of the wheat and the tare, what we find is the tares eventually are destroyed. Right? But the wheat go on to grow and be used and to be, the salt of the earth, all the great things that we know that us Christians are led to be, we go on to be. But the wheat eventually is destroyed, and it's almost like it's never talked about again. And I want to challenge you all today on recognizing that when you have a spirit of God so strong in you, you don't throw the towel in. When you've got a God so powerful that's been backing you since before you were born, you don't throw the towel in. You don't submit. You don't give up. What you do is you go even the more with him in your faith closet, in your prayer closet, in your time of prayer, and you take your faith up a notch, because what's happening is we're seeing a lot of people that are losing the faith, including strong faith Christians. And it's discouraging to me because for me, not to brag or to boast, and I'm not going to do that, but what I've realized is 2020 has been a great year. And I would be a fool to think that I would say, let's hurry up and turn the chapter on 2020 when I know that God is doing great things. He's blessed me with a child. He's blessed me with a house. He's blessed me with a car. in 2020. He's blessed me with being able to breathe another breath of life. And I don't say that to defend a point here. I say that like literally because my old home was shot up. He saved my life, right? And so 2020 has been a miraculous year. And so I want to ask you today, have you been one to throw the towel in on 2020? Or have you been the one to be light, be positive during this time and say, you know what? 2020 has actually been a great year. I didn't get COVID. I didn't get sick. I didn't die. I didn't just lose faith. But in fact, I did the most with the time that was given to me. And that's what I feel God is looking for in this season, saints. He's looking for someone that would take advantage of the time that he's given them and go out and be great. I don't think that the world will continue on in the stages that it's been going on in. I believe eventually that one day we'll get back to our normal a stage in our life, and we'll be back to walking around with no mask on. And when we get to that day, saints, I want you to be able to look back and reflect over 2020 and say that you did all that you can do. You took advantage of the time that God gave you and you didn't throw the towel in. So saints, on today, I challenge you to not speak negatively over this year, but in fact, I want you to speak positively over this year and don't count out 2020.